Welcome everyone in this new live development video about building an auto battle game. In this video we're just going to build up our little logic to spawn units on grid. So basically grids are going to have a property, a function which spawns units on them. So we're going to open up our BP grid and we're going to create a new function called spawn units. And it's going to take an array of units, data handle row, and I guess an index. So I think we need to do this because we need to create a structure which is going to hold all of these informations. Oh, I didn't want to close grid. Units, yeah, we can delete that one. This one, units, we can delete that. And we're going to create a new blueprint structure which is going to be like grid units. We're going to open that up and this is going to hold two informations. The first one is going to be a data table handle row handle, and the second one is going to be a vector 2D which is going to be the index of the units. So we're going to have a unit and the unit index like this. And this is going to be all the time, this is going to be a unit from the DT units. By default it's going to return the default unit like this. And our grid, our spawn units function is going to take a new parameter which is going to be an array of grid units. Units to spawn like this. So we have a reference to our squares. Do square have a row? No, they don't. So we are casting and we are storing this. I think we need to store that in a better way. Where are we using this? For each unit in grid, old state units, add units. So we are find units in grid. Where is this called? It's never called. We're going to get rid of this. Hit compile. Hit play. Okay, we don't have any errors. And so the squares there, we're going to get rid of this. And we're going to make that a table of vector 2D and square like this. And we're going to add that like this. Maybe squares needs to have some kind of reference to their index just in case we need that. Maybe we don't. Yeah, we do need to store that. So we're going to open up square and we're going to add a variable which is going to be id, or yeah, id, and this is going to be a vector 2D. And we're going to make that exposed on spawn like this. Hit compile, save, get rid of this. Okay, wait, yeah, we don't need to make that exposed on spawn, neither do we need public because we're adding this as a child actor component, so we don't have the value exposed. And we have to set this here, set index, set id, and we're going to pull that in here. So what is the id? It's this. So make id. So this is for each row. Oh, whoops. This is for each row and this is for each column like this. So this is your id. We are storing this. It's fine. Units, are we using this anymore? I guess we're not, so we're going to get rid of this as well. Oh, not in the square, not at all. We want to get rid of units there. Yep. Grid size, square size, we're using everything there. So spawn units, what do we want to do? We want to loop through that. We want to break. So I guess we're going to need some kind of way to retrieve static information such as units and such as, for instance, team color. Can we get the singleton there? No, we can't. I guess we need to, maybe we need to implement that. A singleton is something you can grab everywhere. Game singleton class. I thought we had some kind of way to retrieve that anywhere we were. Maybe it's only gonna bring, maybe we're only going to be able to call that once we singleton. No, we don't. All settings, singleton. Maybe we have to set one up. We're going to try doing this, create a new blueprint class there, which is an actor, which is BP singleton, like this. And in there we're going to call that. Can we call that now? Get singleton? No, we can't. We're just going to restart the project real quick. I don't want to start up TeamSpeak. Not at all. So maybe that's just because back at the studio I'm working in, we created a function to retrieve the singleton wherever we are. That's why I don't have it here. I want to open up the assets which were open. Get singleton? No, we cannot call that. Okay. Because I don't want to store all the information about units in there. And I want to get rid of the singleton we created then. Or maybe we're gonna create some way to retrieve it. Actually, that's kind of sad that we can't call that. I guess we can call the game instance, so that's fine. So we're going to remove that. Oh, we can't. I guess we can. None. We cannot empty that. That's that's confusing. Oh, we're just gonna destroy the singleton. We'll see how it behaves. Yeah, force delete. Project settings, singleton. We have no class there. Can we hit play? Doesn't make any errors, I guess. Yeah. So I guess we can pull that in the game instance. The game instance is gonna retrieve all the information we need regarding units. So we're gonna open up that, create a new variable called units data. I think that right now we have that somewhere, unit data. I think we're storing this somewhere. Get unit data row in the combat unit, yeah. So the unit itself is actually retrieving that information. And I think the unit will want to grab this from the game instance as well. Extract data from row. Yeah, we want that. We want that in the game instance, so we're going to get rid of the logic there. Go back to a close combat unit code, close find, go back to the game instance, create a new function called extract unit data. Paste that here. Plug that unit row. So we don't want that. We want to get all data table. Well, actually that's not so bad. Do it this way. We're only grabbing one information, but in any case the grid is going to need that. It's not going to need that, so we don't need to do that actually. I'm sorry. So yeah, I hit Control W. Yeah, I want to hit Control W up until the moment where we move that. Yep, like this. So we're hit save. So we'll still want to do that. If we hit play, we don't have errors. No, we don't. So let's just open up our grid back. Spawn units. So for each, so grid has the possibility to spawn units. So how are we going to do this? We're going to grab our squares, find in the squares, find the index we want. spawn units, and we're gonna have one other function called spawn unit, I guess. It's gonna take two parameters. I guess it's gonna be a unit name and an index, so a vector 2D at id in units row. Like this. We're gonna hit compile, hit save. We want to spawn a unit there. For each of the units we pass as parameter, we want to spawn a unit. We want to break that data row handle. We want to plug that in here and plug that in here. So I deleted that because we're gonna do it in here. So for each unit we want to spawn the unit. So what are we going to do? We're going to grab the row there, and for now we're going to spawn actor from class. We want a unit. What unit do we want? We want a BP unit in here, like this. And I think we want to, we want to make that, we want to set that variable. So we're gonna expose this on spawn, hit compile. We want to make that unit row. We want to pull that and this. Where are we gonna create it? At the location of the square get position. And for now we're just going to do this. Always spawn ignore collisions. Okay, so we have some kind of logic there. We're just going to call that real quick just to see if it works. Each grid is gonna create a unit, or we're going to make that a variable. It's going to be easier to handle. Test spawn system. Hitting compile, hitting save. So what do we want to create there? We want to create like 3 units, like in 1, 2 and 3. We are in the grid and it's lagging. Okay, I guess I know why. So we want to create like an archer, like a grunt, and like, I don't care, a wolf rider. Why not? If we're hitting play, yeah, we're gonna have a bunch of units being spawned. So it cannot spawn units there, so it's gonna throw errors, I guess. Yeah. And I guess that's because we interverted when we are building the grid. We should be doing this like this, I think. Yep. So yeah, that was the issue. So the shop cannot spawn. Yeah, the shop cannot spawn units like we would like to. So we're just gonna change that function up to spawn a units like there in 0, 1 instead of something else. So, and the units have a hard time finding their material, I guess. So that's the reason why they are red, they are black, I mean. Yeah, and we are spawning them in the wrong orientation as well. And we're still getting errors. Access none trying to read property. So we are trying to find. So one of the grid doesn't have 0, 0, 1, 0 or 0, 1. Oh yeah, of course. The bench doesn't have 0, 1, obviously. Yeah. It has only one row. So I guess we're gonna say that we want to create only 2 units for now. And it should not throw any errors. Oh no, we want 0 there and 1 there. Yep, like this. Oh no, so we didn't have to switch the wires in the spawn units. Where are we? When we store that, yeah, we should be doing this. So we were correct in the first place. So we don't have errors. And we have the proper units. Oh yeah, we're going to make them face us. Yep, like this. And we're going to make it so units retrieve their, and I feel like we have I had the feeling we had a bug regarding outlined units, but I guess we don't actually. I guess we don't have a bug actually. So we have some units and we need their team color. Get game state ref. Do we want to get team colors? Get a copy. For now we're going to do it this way. So I guess we're gonna be like red. Yeah, we are red indeed. So everyone is red, doesn't really matter for now. So I guess we shouldn't be setting all of these materials because that guy is all red and we don't want that. So one of the materials shouldn't be set. I don't know which one. So apparently that one we add to. I really don't know what that is. What that guy is. I can't seem to understand. If we hit play, okay, so doesn't work. So I guess we have to set them after all. So maybe it's not using the same type of of material. I'm just gonna check real quick. So the grunts. So we are creating a grunt. Oh yeah. So they are using different materials. Human materials, mask. So I guess we are using one of these and we shouldn't be. Source material, mask, tint mask in the human. So I guess the orcs need to be using mask tint matte like this. So we need to be storing that information one way or another. So it wasn't planned in that video, but we don't care. Actually, I think we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna store that information for now. Material, are there an instance or material? So this is gonna be M human team color like this, and we're going to rename the other one the same way. M orc team color, and we're gonna move this into material folder. Same goes for the undead. M undead team color. Move that here, goes back there, doing the same thing. M orc team color like this. Oh, I guess I made a mistake. I think I called the elven orcs. Yeah. So these are the elf. And the unit is gonna take a material as parameter, as property, another one which is gonna be team color material. Hitting save. Compiling everything there, going back to the data folder like this. The default unit, oh yeah, we're just going to specify value by default in the units. In here by default it's gonna be, we're gonna grab team color. Oh, we have M team color. Oh yeah, that was the one I created for demonstration purposes. By default it's gonna use the human team color. Oh, I guess we added some kind of emissive in there. Yeah, we did. So we'll have to, we'll just see if they are. So I want to open that up. I see, can we get rid of the team color? Oh no, we can't. It's gonna close the rest of our. So in here we're multiplying by 1.5, 1, 3, and 1.3, 1.4. We want like 3 all the way, all the time. Like this, we want to come to apply. Okay, I'm just not gonna apply right now because it's lagging way too much, and I don't want that. I'm just gonna save. Oh yeah, it's gonna compile anyway when I save. Oh no, it's not. Okay, we're gonna close. Yeah, we want to save that. Okay, so we'll have to go through the compile phase after all. Alright, so the archer is gonna use indeed the human team color, footman as well. This one is gonna use the orc team color. That one is gonna use the mage team color, the undead team color. The warrior, this is an undead. Wolf rider is an orc. Ranger is an elf. We're going to save, hit play, and we didn't use that, so we want to use that in here. The source material is actually unit row, unit data row. We want the unit data row. We want to break that, and we want to grab the team color material like this. We want to hide everything, hit compile, hit play. Oh, and is full red guy. So why is he full red? Because I guess we don't have 3 team colors. Yeah, we do. So I guess one of them is actually modifying the skin of the orc, and we don't want that, so not that one, not that one. Okay, so that's quite strange actually. What happens if we open up our orc grunt? We want the skeletal mesh, and we want to modify. Oh yeah, we want the mesh, I said, and we just want to see. Okay, that's not correct at all. So I guess, okay, so that was so I guess one of them should be green by default. Which one is the question we're all wondering. I'm gonna save. So that was the right one. So I guess we only want to set, for the orcs we only want to set the 3 and the 4, but it's gonna bring some problems in the humans, which are blue. So this is not the proper way to do it, so we're not gonna take care of this in this video. So we're gonna have some red orcs for now, and we don't care about this. We're just gonna check what if we use other unit test spawn system. Instead of a grunt, we're actually gonna grab a ranger and an undead warrior. Yeah, so we have so we have stuff to handle regarding the team color material, but we do not care for now. So we have some kind of stuff working. We just want to, one last thing before we wrap up that video, we want to make it so the fight zone actually spawns fighting units instead of units. And how are we gonna do this? It's, I think, in the spawn units in here we want to promote that to a variable unit class to use unit class. We're gonna hit compile. Oh, this is an actor. We don't want that to be an actor. We want that to be a BP unit. change variable, go back to the grid. Oh no, a BP unit class I meant. We want to change this variable. We want to refresh all nodes there. Like this. So the fight zone is actually spawning units, and we want that to be spawning combat units, but not that one because it's our spawn, only these. So how are we going to do that? I think that's quite easy. The battlefield on event play is gonna grab his ID, and his ID, if his ID is not equal to -1, it's gonna branch, and we're going to need to store our fight zone one way or another. So we are grabbing that one. We'll need to grab both, I guess. Like this. And what do we want to do now? We can grab that here. It's the same because both fight zones are going to be the same. So we want to store that into a variable. And that as well. Maybe it's going to be an array, or is it? We'll see how it goes. We'll see if we need to make that an array instead of two different variables. So this one is going to be the fight zone 1, fight zone 01. We can call that here fight zone 01 or ref, I guess. That's I really don't like it. Ref 01, fight zone ref 02. I really don't like that name, but hey, for now we don't care. So if we don't have a local ID, we're going to grab our fight zone and we're going to change their unit class of 1 and 2. And what class do we want to use? We want to use combat units. And we're going to move our player start there. In here, hitting play. We don't have any units there, so that's not supposed to. We're supposed to have units there. But do we have units? Didn't we break our logic? We'll see. Okay, we broke our logic. That's why we have no units there whatsoever. Because the class default is empty, I guess. Unit class BP unit. No, it's working. We're just gonna cast that into BP unit class. Plug that in here. We're gonna refresh that node like this. Always spawn, ignore collisions. Unit class as a unit by default. In the event graph, oh yeah. Oh no. So it might not create combat units, and that's an error. If this event triggers before that one, the fight zone are going to create units instead of combat units, so we're just gonna add a delay there and check what happens. So it doesn't work, we're not spawning units. Where aren't we? Did that. We want a ranger and we want a warrior. We want to spawn the units, and so there is something wrong in here, not working. I'm wondering why. What? So we don't want to say hello world because we're already seeing it. So I guess this is not. If it's not throwing. Oh yeah, so it is. So it is spawning. We're just gonna do something real quick. If this is replicated, get class default. We want to get if it's replicating. So if if that unit is being replicated, if it's not being if it's replicating, we're only gonna do this on server like this. we're gonna add anything we don't need, like this. So it's being called, but we have some kind of problems there. So what units are being spawned? Combat unit, yeah. Oh, it's only spawning combat unit, so that's a problem. We shouldn't be spawning only combat unit. That's quite strange actually. What does this say? Oh, we have a bug there. It's set to none. So we need to refresh that. We need to open up these blueprints. Want to reset that property. Reset that property, the unit class. Oh, we had a bug, okay. Our bench, okay. Our grid, okay. Our battlefield. BP units. If we hit play, we have units spawning. So we have units and combat units. So that's what we want, and we're going to move the start in here. If we're hitting play, we have units there and we have units there, but this time, so I cannot, and they have an else bar, whereas the other didn't, and I can't grab them, I can't move them, and I'm not sure why we can't. We'll just double check why we can't. I guess that's just a matter of events not being overridden properly, because we didn't set anything regarding disabling drag and dropping in the battleground, and it all comes from combat units. Okay, so the player start, we're going to move that here. Okay, so why can't we drag and drop combat units, even if that's what we want? Unit raw, unit data, rotate to new target, yeah. We're not calling the construct events. I guess we can't grab them because they don't have a collision. Combat, I guess set AI new, set AI new state on death, on revive, because we're calling this, I guess. I'm really wondering why some of them. So I'm gonna reduce the delay of the grid because I'm bored to wait for so long. So in the grid we actually want to do this like 0.5 seconds after the start of the game. So we have units, okay, we have combat units, okay, but some of them don't have else above them. So first, why don't they have else? Why don't they have we want to open that up. So the unit is actually being spawned by the server. So this component is being spawned. Maybe they are not combat unit, but in that case we should be able to drag and drop them. We're just gonna do a check. What if the battlefield doesn't tell? What if the battlefield asks for regular units? Oh, we can't grab them, okay. So it's not coming from the fact that they were combat units. But it's still strange that we can't We're just gonna open our player controller in game. Focus, get find focus square. Is it coming from squares? I don't think so. So what are we doing here? Find focus square. Where are we calling this? In tick. So if we are focusing a square, is there units in focus square? Okay, that's the issue here, I think. It never finds any unit in the focus square, but it's finding them, but it should be working. Yeah, we are trying to find the units in the square, and it's working in the spawn for a simple reason. That's because units are actually storing their location on the square when they spawn. If we open up our units, I meant, in the construction script, extract data from row, find square. So yeah, and why is the combat unit not doing this? It is doing this. Begin play, we're calling this. I really think it's coming from the fact that we'll see where it comes from by opening up our in-player controller, find focus square, set focus square. It's checking if we have a moving unit. If we don't, we're checking if there is a units there. We're gonna print something in here. Current feature, units, unit there. So if we are at spawn, it says there is a unit there, but I guess it's not gonna throw anything in here. No, it's not throwing anything. Oh, I know why. That's a silly bug. That's a really silly bug. I guess that's only because of that. If that's it, I'm pretty mad. Oh yeah, that was it. But I guess, so when the server, when the server moves them, it's not moving them? But it should be moving them, since combat units are actually replicated. But so combat units, this is replicating. The unit is not. The combat unit is replicating, and we're replicating its movement. And net kill distance square, we're going to reduce that number by like 4 or even 8. So this is the distance at which someone is going to consider that for replication. We're gonna net update frequency, we're gonna move that down to 20. That's how much per second it is replicated. So if we're hitting play, if the server moves them, okay. So the clients, but the client doesn't have. So the client doesn't have all the information regarding the color. So when are we setting the color? It should have every information it needs. Set team color, get team color material. So maybe that's empty, but I guess it cannot be because we are storing it here. So the game state ref, maybe it throws cast fail. That's why we're having some mega fail prints. We don't have any mega fail print. So client should have the team color. but it doesn't. And it doesn't have, actually it doesn't have the proper, it doesn't spawn the proper units. That's the issue here. Why is it not spawning the right units? Are our... This is not supposed to be replicated. Yep. Grid are not supposed to be replicated as well. Yep. Battlefield are not supposed to be replicated. These guys are not supposed to be replicated. Component replicates, no, no. So we're going to need to open up our grid. I guess there is something wrong about the spawn units. We're asking for the class defaults. Oh, that might be the bug. No, it cannot be that bug. So if we have the authority, we're going to spawn an actor. Yeah, well, that's exactly what we want. So these units don't know what row they have. Oh yeah, of course, I don't even know how he knows these guys. Because we are spawning a unit. Yeah, I don't even know how the client got that information. I think we need to do something like, for now, we're going to do something like unit data row is actually rep notify, no, replicated, initial only. On rep unit data row, we want to get rid of this. So this is expose on spawn, we want to hit play. And it's not working. Quite strange, but we are actually loading this instantly. Yeah, we are. We're just gonna make this rep notify unit data row, rep notify initial only, and we're going to set, we're going to be calling our extract data from row. Okay, that's why. Okay, that's the issue here. We don't want that to be rep notify at all. We don't want that. We want the unit row. This is the one. We want the unit row to be replicated, initial only. Hitting compile, hitting save. Yep, that was the issue here. So this is not going to be like this, but for now we're good. It might even finish like this. So in here, when we move the units, the client see that. But when we are in here, just to explain why the issue here, why the selection issue was about this is because the ground allows us to, the ground actually blocks our mouse cursor, so it could be starting to look for squares around the cursor. And in here, if we move this, the client does not see it, because they are local and the other units are replicated. So we have some kind of wet spawn units in our grid. So that was kind of the first step towards building our logic, our game logic. We're just gonna move that player start real quick just to be able to see the bench. And we'll have to, of course, we'll have to make it so we can't move units in the other battlefield there. For now, we don't care. For now, we don't care. I'm just going to move that once more. And once more. And yeah, I'm okay. I'm going to save and I'm going to wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.